I can't get that image out of my mind where he's smiling into the camera. There are certain cases that deserve the death penalty, and Bob Fratta's right at the top of the list.
This former cop hired a teen hitman to murder his wife.
Who hates your wife enough to kill her?
Nobody I can think of. I mean, I can't think of anybody that hates her.
Farah, age 33 at the time, was found shot twice in the head in the garage of her home.
What is your emergency?
Yes, I just want a shooting, please.
Deputies describe it as execution style. Investigators, though, found no evidence of robbery or assault or any other motive for the shooting. That's when they began questioning Bob Fratta, the victim's estranged husband.
Robert Fratta, a police officer from Missouri City, was embroiled in a contentious divorce and custody battle with Farah when she was killed.
He said she'd be dead before she'd get out of the marriage.
Relatives say Fratta and his wife had been in a bitter battle over custody of their 3 children for 2.5 years.
Prosecutors alleged that Fratta, driven by a desire to gain custody of his children and remove Farah as an obstacle to his relationship with another woman, orchestrated a murder-for-hire plot.
Did you originally have your wife killed?
No, I did not.
Fratta enlisted the help of a middleman, Joseph Prystash, to hire a hitman, Howard Guidry, to carry out the murder.
Prosecutors said Prystash was the go-between and getaway driver, while Guidry was the triggerman.
Farah Fratta's life was negotiated down to $1,000 and a car. For this, she was murdered.
Guidry, armed with a firearm, ambushed Farah in her own garage, fatally shooting her twice in the head before fleeing the scene.
Neighbors told investigators that they heard the first gunshot,
followed by a scream and then another second quick gunshot.
The murder was cold, calculated, leaving Farah's family and community in shock and mourning.
He was a coward in 1994, and 28 years plus later, he is still a coward.
According to family members, he showed no emotion and no sorrow.
Despite Fratta's vehement protests of innocence, the prosecution presented a compelling case against him, backed by testimonies from Prystash and Guidry, implicating him in the murder plot.
Fratta did have an alibi.
Well, the time it happened, I was at church with my children.
True, but detectives knew Bob and Farah were in the middle of a contentious divorce and custody battle. There was also the matter of the $1,000 in cash found in Bob's car the night of Farah's murder.
Fratta's defense attempted to discredit the witness and challenge the validity of the evidence, but their efforts were ultimately unsuccessful.
He is so self-serving, so egotistical, is a classic narcissistic that believes the world revolves around him. Bob Fratta is the epitome of an atomic bomb, and he exploded a family.
Fratta's trial resulted in his conviction and sentencing to death in 1996. However, the legal battle did not end there, as Fratta pursued numerous appeals and challenges in a bid to overturn his conviction.
I can't get that image out of my mind where he's smiling into the camera. There are certain cases that deserve the death penalty, and Bob Fratta's right at the top of the list.
But Fratta remained on death row for nearly 3 decades, until his execution in 2023.
Fratta did not make a last statement. He stared straight ahead at the ceiling. It did not acknowledge the victim's witnesses at all.